Welcome to the Monday edition of Take 5 for Torah. Today is Monday, August 18th, the 24th of Av. And Monday means that we're discussing some event that relates to Jewish history that took place this week. It just so happens that from the time we started back in April, this is the shortest or the lowest amount of material from Seder Olam. Practically nothing took place this week in the entire corpus of Seder Olam. There is one reference, but it seems to be disputed by the Talmud, that on the 24th of Av, that would be a little later this week, that there was a polemic involving those who rejected the Torah Shebaal Peh. They had no oral tradition whatsoever, and there was an argument regarding some aspect of inheritance law. And when it was finally decided and determined that the law should follow the Torah Shebaal Peh, the rabbis made a holiday out of it. Now I say that the Talmud disagrees with this because there is a Gemara in Bava Basra that says the same information, but that the day they turned into a holiday because of the determination of the halacha was not the 24th of Av, but the 24th of Teves in the wintertime. So, all right, we have the dispute, but I don't want to get involved in a dispute. There is also a Gemara in Maseches Shabbos, on Daf Kuf Yutes, that speaks about what clearly seems to be a Christian and a Jew debating the exact same inheritance law question. And the Jew ends up telling, I say he's a Christian because he told him, doesn't it say in your special writings that your leader comes not to change the law of Moses, not even like the top of a letter Yud? So, and yet you want to change the law of inheritance here, and the same argument is made there. So it seems to be well represented, a Gemara in Bava Basra, a Gemara in Shabbos, about this debate. But again, because there's a dispute about whether this took place in Av or Teves, I'm tabling this for a different event, which we don't usually do here, but it's a yortzeit. There is a yortzeit this week of a very famous Jew, the Netziv, Naftali Tzvi Yehuda Berlin. His last name was Berlin. He had a brother who made it to Israel who changed his name to Bar Ilan. The university is named after him. So two very famous brothers, one that stayed in the yeshiva world. And the Netziv was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Volozhiner Yeshiva, and he actually presided over its closing. The Netziv preferred not to secularize the yeshiva, and early in the month of Shavat, they decided that better not to let the Russian authorities determine our curriculum, and it's better to close. So the Netziv actually, in his lifetime, published his work, his parish to the Torah, known as the Ha-Mek Davar. This is an early version of the Netziv's work. And in his lifetime, this is very rare for the 1800s, in his lifetime he took notes on the published edition. If you have a first edition, it's worth a lot of money. He wrote his own personal notes on his copy of the Ha-Mek Davar, and the family got their hands on those notes, and they published a much more elaborate, this is just Devarim, it's in 5 volumes, this is Devarim, the new version, in 5 volumes with a lot of notes at the bottom. And it has Ha-Mek Davar, of course, is the name of the commentary. And then there's something called Harchev Davar, which is an elaboration of all of his notes that he took in his printed edition. There's just one quick Dvar Torah in the beginning of Parshas Ekev. It says that man does not live on bread alone. And the Netziv makes a large drash out of this about man not living on one day will have to go without a lot of physical sustenance. He understands the word lechem there to be more of a euphemism for all the needs that the human being has, and to prepare for that day where we will not be in our land, we won't have our regular institutions, and to make sure that we have our spiritual guidance and our love of Torah, our love of the Spirit, that will help us in that day. Ki al kol ma p'tza pi Hashem yichya adam. It's true we can't live without food, but in a time where we have less food and we have to make sure that we're in good shape for that difficult time, the Netziv lived through that very difficult time himself at the end of the 1800s. Of course, it got worse and worse for us for 60, 70 years, but the Netziv continues to be a glorious commentary to the Torah. May his memory be a blessing. His Yortzeit is the Chav Ches of this Friday, and may we be able to learn his works for many, many years.